this is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome to the iRacing Esports Network, welcome to the BSR MX5 series, and welcome to Tsukuba for the first round of the new championship. I am Chaz Draycott alongside Tom Jacobs and Alex Simpson this evening. And Tom, we're back at Tsukuba where we saw probably some of the best racing we saw in the winter series last time round. So this should be an absolute belter to get the season kicked off.
Yeah, welcome back everyone. I hope you enjoyed the little 2-week break we had, but we're back live again on the iRacing Esports Network, as Chaz said. Yeah, I think it's going to bring some interesting racing tonight. Last time round it was brilliant, wasn't it? It really suits the MX5 this, the so-called slipstream, as you heard so much from last season. Doesn't play as much of an effect here, so all the drivers will be eager to get out. We've got some nice new pretty liveries out there, couple of new names out there as well, so yeah, it should make for an interesting night's racing.
And Tsukuba, of course, tight little twisty Japanese circuit, always entertaining to see. We were actually quite sceptical last time round when we came here, but these guys, as they always do, provided a hell of a night of racing. Just finishing up qualifying now then, only a couple of cars on track as we see Carl Hardy there for Result Clothing. And of course, Tom, new season, new liveries, and a lot of these cars are looking really good tonight.
Yeah, they all look fantastic, don't they? I've got to say, Swift Cooper Esports, I think, wins the award for prettiest car out there at the moment. I haven't had a chance to look through them all, but hopefully we should see some decent racing here this evening, and we'll get a chance to get another really good look at them going into race one.
Certainly should be. We've got slightly overcast conditions for race one, so any concerns about tyre wear for these guys will be thrown out of the window. Just having a quick look at the moment down the order. It's the usual protagonists, but we're looking at the Excite Energy Esports cars and Swift Cooper Esports, of course. Those guys were the class of the field last season with the SimLab guys thrown in as well. A couple of new names though, Tom, hoping to prove themselves. It'll be interesting to see how they get on, I suppose, won't it?
Yeah, it will be. We saw it from Panyan last season. He came in and did extremely well. A couple of other names in there as well. Who did we have last season? Just trying to, I can't remember. James McRitchie, sorry, did really well when he came in last season as well. So yeah, it should be an exciting time for them.
And the drivers now just finished qualifying, as we say. So here is the grid for the first round of the season then. Charlie Summers and Jamie Ayres make up the front row. Jason Cooper, last season's champion, with Ashley Beard on row 2. Brian Holmes is 5th with Marcelo Panyan in 6th. Peter Van Gool is 7th with Martin Plowman in 8th. He's a new name to the championship. Luke Cooper is 9th and Adam McNally rounds out the top 10. Elmar Ellicat with Dave Hampson on the 6th row of the grid. Then it's James McRitchie, who is finally a pro. Jack Ashton 14th, Alex Rivette 15th, Kip Stevens 16th, Benjamin Mears 17th, Cesare Rizzo 18th, Stuart Dick is 19th, and Nils Carstensen is in 20th place. Carl Hardy is then alongside Nick Mccarran for 21st and 22nd, followed by Billy Rose and Max Wright. Will Daniels for V-Racer is 25th, with Lorne Murray 26th. Jeroen Ursum, the Mystic Meg himself of the reverse grid wheel, is alongside Carl Jackalette in 28th. Then it's Abdulkair Al Amri 29th, with Ralph Cullen in 30th, Joe McDonald and Graham Sestford 31st and 32nd. Then it's Mikey Key, Michael Wortman, Rob Graham and Mick Barry in 36th. Then we've got Craig Jones, Scott Malcolm, Roy Viverke, Martin Sampson, I believe that is, David Ayres, Dale Bennison, Dave Christie, and Steve Hefford is 44th. And just at the back of the grid there as well, in 45th, Anthony Ainsworth. For Year One Racing, another new team to the grid this season, Tom.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how those guys go. They'll be looking for a decent result this evening. But Charlie Summers for Swift Cooper Esports is on the front row then, behind him Jamie Ayres and Jason Cooper, so it should be an interesting one here as the revs rise and the lights begin to come on for the first time this season. It's lights out and away we go. To quote Crofty, Charlie Summers gets an excellent start as they come down towards turn 1. Jamie Ayres didn't get the best time off the line. It's brought Jason Cooper really into play for him. But as they all go through, we've got one car round, and that's Jason Cooper already. And a couple of other guys falling down the grid as well as everyone chops and changes into turn 1. No big real incidents. A couple of cars off there at the back as well, Chaz. But Jason Cooper there really missed out.
Yeah, previous season's champion then turned round at turn 1. Really not what he wanted. I think it was one of the Excite cars ran a little bit wide and just gave him a tap, and as the wheels came together it just popped the car around into the air as we saw. Looking at Jamie Ayres now with the Excite Energy Sports cars chasing him down, and once again they're in packs, these Excite cars. Charlie Summers pulls right over to the right hand side of the track. Not sure whether that's some sort of tactic to stop them getting the slipstream behind. If he can break that slipstream though, Tom, it's actually going to be quite important coming onto that back straight, because we saw a lot of the races last season decided at the final corner with people throwing banzai moves at the inside.
Yeah, we saw a lot of guys coming out the slipstream, as you say, into the last corner, putting it on the grass, then going round the outside and fully Verstappen it towards the line. And sometimes it did work out for them, and then other times they ended up in the wall. So, yeah, it's not so much a prominent thing here with slipstream, but it's also still going to play a part. Charlie Summers now still out in front ahead of Jamie Ayres and Ashley Beard, and Summers looking really promising, Chaz. He's driving for Swift Cooper Esports, and he's flying the flag for them at the moment. Excite Racing currently, if you're a fan of them, in 3rd and 4th with Ashley Beard and Brian Holmes, and then Jamie Ayres splits them in 2nd place for SimLab Racing. And as they come down the back straight for one more time, it's a relatively short lap this. We're about 1 minute and 6 seconds is the fastest lap. We just see one of the guys at the back there making their way through, and then down they go to complete. I think this is, well, lap 2. Is it lap 2 or lap 3 they're coming on to? I'm not sure with the graphics at the top at the moment.
Lap 3 now we're coming on
to.
to.
Yeah, lap 3, as we see the guys getting very wide in the background, and you don't want to be doing that too often, because we saw a couple of times last season, didn't we, Chaz, that people can end in the wall if they do that a bit too hard.
Yeah, that AstroTurf can quite easily catch you out. Little rear-wheel drive cars like this can very easily spin there. You saw a moment ago the little Pro and Am designations, which are blue and green. It means that the Pro drivers are designated with a little blue strip on the left, and the green are the Am drivers. And also for this season, which I've been working on, has been the decal layers for these cars, which are the number boards and the windscreen strips. You can see the drivers' names just above the windscreens there, with some little colour flashes either side. Oh, as around goes the 16 car. That is Graham Sesford for Year 1 Racing. He has spun that machine quite quickly there. But I was just saying, you can see the little coloured strips either side of their names on the windscreen banners. Nice little shot of them there as they come towards us. Oh, in the background, oh no, that's Cesare Rizzo and that's Jeroen Ursum. Both around and in the wall. I think Rizzo got it a little bit out of shape on the exit there, and they just caught each other as they came back round. Fantastic livery view to see there, Alex, on Jeroen Ursum's car.
Yeah, very good.
Not sure if you noticed that, but
yeah, I'm liking that.
Hopefully we'll just stick with him for a second, have a shot of this if you can see it come round. Tom, you'll absolutely love this if you've not seen it already. He's got the ApexRacingTV spinning wheel on there with Alex's face and a little sign that says the Alex Simpson Fan Club.
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
Absolutely cracking by Jeroen Ursum. Some great sport, Jeroen is.
I'll take it.
Charlie Summers and Jamie Ayres then side by side out of the hairpin down the straight. No slipstreaming here from these guys, but they've got to worry about the Excite cars behind Tom, because as always they're feisty as ever.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? And they're looking really racy here, and they'll be looking to get a good result and hit the season straight off the bat. Jamie Ayres up the inside as they round the final corner, though. He's pushing Charlie Summers a little bit wide. That's brought the Excite boys into play as they come towards turn 1. Beard has a little look round the outside, but Jamie Ayres still up the inside of Charlie Summers. Really breaks late there, causes Summers to go wide, and this has brought the Excite boys into play as well. They're pretty much in a diamond formation now as they come towards the second of the hairpins. Jamie Ayres leads. Summers still up the inside, and Summers about to go through again. And it looks like he's managed to make it stick, but Ayres still with him. They're still side by side for half a lap now, but it looks like Ayres has made it through. although Brian Holmes at the number 58 now with Charlie Summers, and he's managed to get a nose in as they come towards the third hairpin. Holmes breaks late, on board with him now, and I think he might have got Charlie Summers done there, but Summers does get a decent run coming out of the hairpin, and he's coming back at him as we come down the back straight now. Brilliant shot on board with Brian Holmes. You can see he's just going to be waiting to find his breaking point wisely. He's a wise old owl, is Brian. He lets him go a little bit early, breaks a little bit early, sorry, and just lets Charlie go through. But Chaz, what a brilliant lap of racing that was.
Oh yeah, plenty of side-by-side stuff. These guys have raced with each other for quite a while, so they all give each other a lot of respect and a lot of room. It was feisty stuff from Jamie Ayres, and the little move down the inside from Brian Holmes and his teammate was very opportunistic as they all sort of ran wide into turn one. But great stuff as always, especially from Tsukuba as well. Great to see this track once again throwing up some exciting racing. It's tight and twisty, so it keeps it all down to driver's skill a little bit more than some of the slipstream tracks where it's easier for people to stay in touch. Looking down the order here is Lorne Murray and the number 23 car. Sorry, he is in the number 23 car. Carl Jacquelet just ahead of him. He's actually showing his number 88 at the moment. Oh, there he goes. There goes Lorne Murray into the wall. Real shame for Lorne there. Don't know whether he just ran wide and got clipped or whether Jacquelet was a bit aggressive coming out of the corner, but yeah, there's something really wrong with that car now. Just looking here at Nick Mccarran. He's got Alex Rivette behind him. He is the lead AM driver at the moment. Hopefully, clearly designated by the windscreen banner, if not on the timing tower on the left-hand side. But he's doing a fine job at the moment. It's Alex. He's racing for Year 1 Racing. And that is a very, very striking livery, to be fair, Tom. And it's good to actually see them. They've actually put numbers on the bumpers as well, just to make it a bit more bold if you can't already see them.
Yeah, it's made it a bit easier for ourselves as well, isn't it? I do like the liveries this season. I've got to say, Chaz, a decal layer does make everything a lot easier to be able to see what the guys are designated as. Sometimes they can, when they're blasting past you at, well, I don't know what an MX5 does, about 40 mile an hour. It can be quite difficult to recognise who they are. We don't have the luxury of the single seaters where we can just tell by what their helmet livery is. So yeah, it's nice to see the guys have really put some effort in with the liveries for this season. I think the Year 1 car looks really striking. It's just a little bit down on Swift Cooper Esports livery for myself. So, but Charlie Summers has got back into the lead then as we look back towards the front. I think that was probably done maybe on a slipstream going into the last corner, but Jamie Ayres isn't letting him go, is he? And I've got to say, Chaz, as well, the Excite boys are looking really racy behind them. But they've also got Marcelo Pagnon, who's now, they've sort of caught up with the front runners now after they've been battling. And now we've got quite a huge train looking back. There's got to be about 10 cars in there at the moment.
Yeah, this is what we want from Tsukuba, and it's what we expect from it as well. Really close racing. And I do apologise, I did say Alex Rivette was the highest placed AM. I believe it's Stuart Dick at the moment. I will confirm that at some point.
I've got Stuart down as a pro, according to the sign-up sheet. So.
Okay. Well, I think I've admittedly, I think I've given him an AM windscreen banner because I noticed his was green a minute ago. But we'll, yeah, we will confirm and check up on that. But that's the teething issues with new series, I suppose, isn't it? It's what happens, making sure everything's classified properly and sorted out. But we will have it nailed for next time round. Some of the driver numbers you will notice as well tonight will change to the second race. There's been a bit of an update in terms of who is running what number. So we'll have an extra little bit to get used to, Tom. But it's not that much of a change, to be fair. But look at these lot, absolutely nose to tail. Like you say, it's pretty much the entire top 10 now. You can see the intervals on the left-hand side, and Carstensen 4 seconds back from this battle. So it's not like these boys are slowing each other up.
No, not at all. They're really putting in some tidy lap times at the moment. We're into the 1 minute ones now, and I'm sure it won't be long until someone breaks that and gets into the 1 minute deads. High 1 minute dead, so it's definitely coming. I think once we get a bit of better weather conditions, it gets a bit cooler. Yeah, I think it's going to make for some brilliant racing. So I just want to talk about quickly, Chaz. We've obviously got new tyre model 7 coming in. Just your opinions on that. I don't know if you've driven it in the Skip Barber, but how do you feel it's going to affect MX5s and you, Alex, as well? How do you feel it's going to affect like MX5 racing and looking further on into the future?
I think that, I mean, from what I've heard of the Skip Barber, I've not driven it myself, but apparently in terms of the actual life of the tyre, it seems a lot more realistic. Like previously you were able to overheat it kill it and take the life out of it quite quickly. But apparently there's a lot more feel for it, and when it goes off it's not so much of a cliff. So I think that could be a bit better to see more consistent racing from people, especially in something like the MX5. It may not be the quickest car on the service, but you do have to still worry about tyre life because the fronts on these cars do a hell of a lot of work, and you don't really spin up the rears that much. So it's going to be, yeah, certainly I think it's going to make the racing closer, if anything, if what I hear is true from it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I've driven it in the Skip Barber, and what I found actually is you actually have to warm the tyres up now for pre-race, which is quite a nice little addition, because if you don't, or you change tyres, cold tyres are definitely a noticeable thing. So I'm sure that'll change racing quite a bit as we look a little bit further down the order now. And James Ritchie getting his elbows out, having a bit of fun with Carstensen there, and it's proving to be quite the battle so far, Chaz. In the midfield, we've got F1 coming up this weekend, and I think this is the same sort of scenario where we can just look. This is the first time we're going to see the guys out properly and see what the different teams are going to be like throughout the season. Yeah,
definitely, I'd say so. McRitchie obviously now a pro in classification rather than an AM this season, which he very, very deservingly a pro, and I think he's going to do very well in that class this season. But he's currently in a Swift Cooper Esports sandwich with Carstensen, Stevens and Cooper. That is Luke Cooper behind as well, not Jason. Jason Cooper I don't think is still in the race. Let's have a look. He is actually. He's in 26th place. Did start third on the grid though, so he's not going to be too chuffed with that, but he's made a good recovery so far. Drivers we have lost from the race so far is Dave Hampson, Anthony Ainsworth, Will Daniels, Lon Murray, who we saw earlier, Cesario Rizzo and David Ayres. I believe Dale Bennison is a lap down, but look at this now. Mccarran, 2 wheels on the inside. Rivette going with him, trying to go down the inside into turn 1. He's going to leave it late on the brakes. There's a long old sort of wide corner is turn 1, and Mccarran really wide, gives him plenty of room. But now he's side by side with Max Wright there, who just slots in behind. But there's the very striking Year 1 racing livery of Rivette. Doing a fine job so far, Tom.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? It's nice to see the AM guys having a battle all of their own. So you've got Nick Mccarran in there with them as well. But we can see the spread and the difference in lap times. The quickest lap time at the moment, what I can see from the pro guys, is a 1 minute 1.32. That's for Jamie Ayres. And then you look at AM. Quickest is Alex Rivette himself with a 1 minute point. Oh no, sorry, it is Alex Rivette with a 1 minute 1.92. So yeah, the lap times are really quite close, to be honest. It's nice to see with them, really. It's nice to see that the AM guys can push themselves towards the pro guys, as we saw last season, Charles. I can't get my words out this evening. As we saw with James Ritchie as well. I mean, he was an AM throughout all last season and really took it toe to toe with the pro guys, which is why he's earned himself a little blue square next to his name. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting season. AM's normally my favourite sort of part of the racing. I think you can get a lot more argy-bargy in with the AM guys in the midfield, and yeah, I think we're all set for a really good season, and I hope you guys at home are going to enjoy it as well.
Indeed, it's going to be an absolute belter. A longer season this time round, of course. The organisers have decided to make it into pretty much a pro-style championship based off the BSR TC Pro Series, where instead of having 4 smaller seasons and sort of, I don't want to say doing it for a laugh, because I don't think I think a lot of these boys were doing it for more than a laugh last time round, but there's definitely a lot more pride at stake now. Oh, late on the brakes there, Brian Holmes. I think Jamie Ayres ran a little bit wide going into the corner and then wide on exit, and Holmes nearly took advantage of it and went into the back of him almost. But Charlie Summers now, though, making a bit of a gap up front, Tom. It looks like he's going to start to walk away with this. There's only 1 minute left of the race, actually, so that'll be one more lap after this one.
Yeah, definitely. Charlie Summers really starting to walk away with it now, and it's going to have to be some amazing lap from Ayres when they come round next time round to manage to catch him. I think if only Charlie Summers has a mistake, is the only time you're really going to be able to catch him. As we see on the left of the screen there, it's now 1.1 seconds is the gap between them, although Ayres is catching a bit of slipstream there, as you can see on the left. He's made up 2/10 there as they come round the final corner for the last time. Really tidy driving there for our Charlie Summers, really neat, and everything he needs to do to take the checkered flag as they come into turn 1 for the final time then. Charlie Summers leads from Jamie Ayres, who's nearly a second back now from Brian Holmes and Ashley Beard. You've got Panion in there as well. See, Jamie Ayres just disappears for a second on my screen. From Panion as well. There's been much moving and shaking actually, Chaz, at the front. All the guys have been nice and chilled out really, doing what they need to do. And we had a mad lap. I think it was about lap 7. We had a bit of a mad lap with the guys at the front switching places. But apart from that, I think they're just getting a banker in, a good position banker in, and then really start to press on later on in this evening.
Yeah, definitely. It's at this point you don't want to be taking massive risks. You just want to get your eye in and just get used to how the cars are behaving and any sort of changes that you've made in the mid-season. Not in the mid-season, sorry, in the off-season. But there's a couple of new names in there, like you say. But I don't think they're going to have a massive impact on the entire amount of racing. But Charlie Summers, though, making a big impact this evening, takes the race win from Jamie Ayres, Ryan Holmes, Ashley Beard, Marcelo Panion. Plowman is in 6th with Adam McNally, Jack Ashton, Pete Van Gool and Elmar Ellerket. That's a great finish that is for him on his debut. 10th place overall. James McRitchie in 11th. Just there, Alex Rivette just missing out to Stuart Dick. Into the last corner is Mick Barry. Around the long right-hander, he's got his teammate Craig Jones just in front of him there. Those two come across the line in 25th and 26th. But nice tame race there, to be honest with you, Tom. It was a bit cleaner than we saw last time from these guys, but nice way to get the season started. Yeah, fantastic stuff from all of them. Yeah, as you say, nice and clean around Tsukuba. It's a tricky circuit to get right. It's a bit like the MX5. It's quite easy to drive quick, but to master it's an all different ball game. As you see Charlie Summers weaving up and down the back straight in celebration. You have to be doing a lot more of that with the new Thai Model 7 coming in, my friend. But yeah, I think it's going to prove to be a really great season from what we've seen so far. As we said before, with F1 you only really see the cars flat out, not in practice or testing. It's round 1 and that's what we've just had, and it's clear to see it's the same old names at the front once again, but I'm sure the guys that are a bit further down will be looking to bring it to the guys at the front. Yeah, definitely. It gets closer and closer as the season goes on all the time. People obviously getting used to how the things are behaving and how the other drivers are around them. But what were your thoughts on that one, Alex? It seemed like, I'm not going to say it was a boring race, but in comparison, it's just been quite tame, hasn't it?
I think compared to what we saw here, the first race of last season, yeah, very subdued. But of course, it is the start of a season, so drivers a bit different. The pro, a bit more at stake this time around. And yeah, I think people just sort of finding themselves out, figuring out some of these new guys whether they can race. I mean, I thought Nick gave a little bit more room than perhaps he needed to, and so definitely some some caution going on out there with it being first meeting of the season.
Yeah, definitely, and it's just nice to see that respect out there, though, I suppose, with Nick leaving the room, just getting the points in while you can, I suppose, because we saw at the end of last season. It can change in just the course of one race out of 4 in an evening. And on that note, we do actually have 3 more races coming up for you this evening. And just now, Tom, if you'll do the honours, we have the results from race 1. Yeah, so Charlie Summers takes a well-deserved race win, 0.8 of a second ahead of Jamie Ayres for SimLab Racing in second. Brian Holmes rounds out the podium and the first across the line for Excite Racing in third. His teammate Ashley Beard behind him in fourth. Marcelo Panion, the next Swift Cooper Esports car, across the line in P5. Martin Plowman in sixth, Adam McNally in seventh, and then Jack Ashley in eighth. Pete Van Gool in ninth with Elmar Ellerkout in 10th. James McRitchie in 11th, Nils Carstensen in 12th, 13th was Luke Cooper, 14th was Kip Stevens, 15th Stuart Dick, Alex Rivett takes your AM race win in 16th, Nick Mccarran in 17th, Max Wright was second in AM for Automech Knock Hill, 19th Billy Rose, 20th Benjamin Mears, 21st Ralph Cullinan, 22nd Carl Jacquelet, Steve Hefford in 23rd, 24th was Jason Cooper, didn't have a bad recovery drive there after his incident right at the start, Craig Jones in 25th, Michael Barry 26th, Roy Ververke in 27th, Scott Malcolm in 28th, Mikey Key 29th, Graham Sesford in 30th, Michael Wortman in 31st, Martin Hampson in 32nd, Carl Hardy in 33rd, Abdulkir Al-Amri in 34th, Rob Graham in 35th, 36th was Joe McDonald, and then 37th, your own Ursum, who kept on going, I believe. Dave Christie in 38th, and your non-finishers, Daryl Bennison, David Ayres, Cesare Rizzo, Law Murray, Will Daniels, Dave Hampson, and Anthony Ainsworth. Thanks very much, Tom. And for the first time this season, I believe Mr. Simpson will have the much-loved reverse grid wheel.
Yeah, indeed we do. And there's been a few predictions coming in. Let's see if any of them come true. Well, we flirted with the 4-1, but we didn't quite get it. Ends up at 40th, which I think is going to be a 4 anyway.
It just is as well, to be fair. 38 cars were within one lap. That's going to put Dave Christie and, well, your own Ursum on the front row. So Joe McDonald will line up third, Rob Graham will be fourth, and Abdulkair Al Amri will be fifth on the grid. So if you join me, Tom and Alex on the iRacing Esports Network again in about 10 to 15 minutes time, we'll bring you race 2 of the evening from the BSR MX5 series. Thanks very much. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and Tsukuba for the second race tonight in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. I've actually got the name of the series right this time. Chaz Draycott here with Tom Jacobs, and Alex Simpson is on the cameras doing a wonderful job as always. Very tame race one, Tom, as we said, but reverse grids, they always throw up a bit more fun.
Yeah, I think it could be a bit more interesting this time, judging from who we said was on pole last time round for the reverse spinny wheel. I think the guys at the back, especially the pro guys, are going to have a real fight on their hands to make their way through the field here. Turn one's all right, you're all right through there, but like the second hairpin in the chicane, it can get quite narrow on the infield. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate it here.
And of course, it'll be interesting to see some of the, in inverted commas, faster guys come back through from their respective positions further down the order. We've got quite a lot of AM guys near the front this time, and a couple of the new names near the front as well. Abdulkair Al Amri is one of those drivers as well. Seems to have a bit of a steady race one, actually. Not quite sure on his eventual finishing position, but we'll see how he goes. Just waiting for the practice session to end now. Shouldn't be too long from now, but we've got overcast conditions again, Tom. And last time we were here, we saw it most of the way through the night. It doesn't seem to affect the MX5 too much on a short and twisty circuit like this, but do you reckon tyre life might be an issue?
Yeah, it might be. It depends how hard you push it, really, doesn't it? I guess at the end of the day, and how much fuel you've taken on board, because obviously fuel levels can affect it as well. Towards the last 2 or 3 laps, the guys might start to see a drop off. We've seen a lot of different driving styles out there. Jason Cooper tends to be quite smooth, but then you've got like Steve Hefford can be quite an aggressive driver on the wheel as well. And I think the more aggressive drivers like Steve might suffer towards the end. So yeah, they might have to save a little bit of tyre, but yeah, I think overall they should be okay.
And it's a sprightly little thing anyway, is the little MX5. And of course, if you do want to try it out, make sure you do sign up to iRacing. It's a fantastic service that we all know and love, and the MX5 is one of the first cars that you do get chucked into if you want to do any road racing. Do it on a lot of shorter circuits, such as Tsukuba. Very similar circuits anyway. These guys have obviously been doing this a while. They've perfected their setups. They've been practicing day in, day out. And it is really a car, Tom. I mean, we've said it before, that it's easy to drive, but to be quick in it, because it's such a momentum car, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Yeah,
it can be a right pain to drive, as you say, because it's a momentum car to actually keep going. What I've found as well, it's a lot easier to drive if you're tucked in behind someone to actually keep up with them. If you start to drop off from that, then that's when we see a lot of guys falling further down and losing time. So yeah, from driving it myself, if you can keep with the pack, then you'll stick with them. But if the guy that you're racing against manages to break away from you and you're out the slipstream, it can be very, very difficult to try and get back up to him again.
Yeah, and that's the difference here, I suppose, with what a circuit like this will do to it. Just makes life a bit more difficult for people when they're trying to get on with it. We call it a skill circuit, really. Somewhere like Road America, where we saw a lot of slipstreaming last season, does tend to level the playing field a bit. But again, I suppose the narrow nature of this track means that overtaking opportunities aren't always presented that much.
No, they're not. Turn one's probably your best bet, and then the last corner, if you can stick one around the outside, then that's probably the way you're going to do it. But in terms of midfield, I think it's just more of a case of just trying to stick with your other driver. Maybe into the second to last corner you could possibly stick a move in, but there's a really high chance of, I find, locking up the brakes down into there. It can be quite slippery, the entry to that corner itself, and can really upset your line going into there. So yeah, I think turn one and the last corner are probably your best bets.
I'm just hearing over the radio in the actual sim as well in the session. There's a bit of an issue with some drivers getting into the race this time round, so they're just giving it a little bit longer this time with the usual warm-up session beforehand, before they do get proceedings underway. I think it's just a couple of guys having a little issue sign up now and then, but it does happen. Technical difficulties, it's part of sim racing, I suppose, isn't it, Tom? It's what we come to know and love.
Yeah, we've all experienced it, no matter what sim you're using. iRacing is no exception. They put on a great service for us, but obviously with different internet connections coming in at all different parts of the world and all having to link up. And you know, when you're going up the inside of someone at somewhere like the corkscrew, then the computer's got to relay that information that you're putting in back to the sim and then back to you for the other drivers. So yeah, we do get technical difficulties. It's just IT at the end of the day. It's computers themselves, and we do come to expect it. You see it in anything, don't you? So as we've got someone down there, Chaz, at the moment doing donuts in the pit lane to try and make the time go by.
Yeah, you've got to light up Riz. If you've got a spare set, why not? I suppose that's one of the wonderful sides of sim racing. You don't have to pay for any damage or pay for any tyres, I suppose. So long as you don't do any damage to your own sim racing equipment, I suppose. It's quite easy to do in frustration. I'm sure we've all been there now and then, but yeah, don't have to worry about them Riz. Light them up, spend it. That's all I say. Just having just on a quick note with you, Alex, as well. Sorry, just looking at Stuart Dick in terms of the Pro Am classifications. I've got him down as a Am on here, so it looks like I may have been correct with the windscreen banner, but I had him on my screen as a Pro before, so we may need that updating if possible, mate. And they've just advanced the session, so any second now we should be going to the race, Tom.
Yeah, well, I'll just throw it back to the league admins as well, and once they update it on their master sheet with all the points and things like that, it'll auto update on our end. So, yeah, over to those guys, and we'll copy it for next week's race. So hopefully they add like Martin Plowman and any other drivers that are unclassified at the moment. There are a couple out there, so yeah, get them added to the entries list, and we'll of course pull down the details from that Nick Mccarran expertly sort of merged together. I don't know how he did it, but he did it, so it works well. But of course, yeah, they've got to update their end, and what a great livery that is on Pulps.
And we should have any second now, Tom. The grid for race 2 as they all line up, and there you go.
Yeah, so Jeroen Ursum lines up on pole position in the Alex Spinny Wheel car. Joe McDonald lines up in P2. Rob Graham behind him in P3. Abdulkir Al Amri in 4th. 5th, Carl Hardy. 6th, Martin Sampson. 7th, Michael Wortman. Graham Sessford lines up 8th. 9th, Mikey Key. 10th, Scott Malcolm. 11th, Roy Ververke. Michael Barry in 12th. Craig Jones in 13th. 14th, Jason Cooper. Steve Hefford in 15th. Carl Jackalette in 16th. 17th, Ralph Cullinan. I believe the revs are rising. And it's away we go again for the second time this evening. Jeroen Ursum gets not the best start, to be honest. He did get away all right, but Joe McDonald is already up the inside of him into turn 1. But Jeroen Ursum makes use of those that late break in there. Oh, he's got a bit out of shape coming out of the corner, and that's upset him quite a lot. All the other cars streaming around the corner in the background. We've got another Swift Cooper Esports car around in the background, Chaz. I'm not sure who that was. If you can have a look at your timing screen while we look at the front. Jeroen Ursum still holding his own from Joe McDonald to the lead, and we've got a big shunt right in the midfield.
Yeah, Billy Rose in there. Luke Cooper, I believe. He's taken over. Oh, David Ayres on the inside there. Who's that he's made contact with? That was Dave Hampson making the change over to SimLab. There's the 77 car around there as well. Oh, there's more cars. It's absolute chaos. Number 12 machine, that's Will Daniels. David Ayres is in there. The number 50 car. That is Nils Carstensen. Charlie Summers was actually the car that was turned around at turn 1. But he's managed to get back going and make it through. But real shame to see so many incidents in one go there. But you can see this fantastic battle of all the AMs near the front. I think it's an entire AM top 10 at the moment, other than Steve Hefford, actually. So the top 9, I believe, AM drivers, as we see Carl Hardy behind Jeroen Ursum there. Oh, sorry, Jeroen Ursum is actually classified as a pro. Look at that, Al Amri side by side there with Rob Graham into the left-hander. Al Amri down the inside, nicely done on the brakes. Great manoeuvre. Thankfully, all the cars from before have been cleared away. And once again, Tom, another little advantage of sim racing there is that you can just pop the car out of the way and we don't have to have a red flag or anything to get them moved.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll change in years to come. I'm sure iRacing will probably end up updating that eventually. I don't know whether I want it in the sim or not, to be honest, but I think safety cars are obviously a really good addition, but red flags, I don't know, maybe to give you a bit more immersion, so to speak. But as you say, it's a lot easier to clear up the track and parts. I mean, I've got to wait for marshals to repair barriers and things like that. As we still look towards the front then, it still is an all-am, all the way down to Steve Hefford, who's currently running in P8. Just see Steve at the background there, popping out, and trying to make a little move on Mikey Key, which he does get done. But Abdelkir Al-Amri still leading the race from Joe McDonald, Rob Graham, and Jeroen Ursum has just moved down into 5th place behind Carl Hardy, who's driving for Result Clothing. They all stream round once more, and it's all gone tidy once again, hasn't it? As we look still a little bit further down the grid, there's the 419 of Michael Wortman with a very striking livery, Chaz. I quite like that one. How about yourself?
Yeah, very in your face, very bold. Certainly stands out. I suppose that's the point of some of these liveries sometimes. Oh, there's the number 4 machine. That's Roy Verke around. I did mention in the last race some of the numbers will change for this one. The top 10 from last season are wearing their numbers from where they finished. I believe actually all except Max Wright, who is number 9 at the moment. The rest of the field have kept their preferred numbers, but look at this battle then between these guys. Al Amri leads the way, then Rob Graham 2nd, Joe McDonald 3rd, Carl Hardy 4th, Jeroen Ursum 5th. He's the highest placed pro driver at the moment. He's got Steve Hefford all over his backside at the moment. They've both got bright yellow flashes on their cars, but Steve Hefford really pushing it through here, Tom, and it's probably going to be when, not if, he gets the move done. I think he might have just done it then, and yeah, he has actually. It's already done, and off he goes.
Yeah, good for him. Really pushing hard at the moment, the guys at the front. Al Amri, though, Chaz, starting to make up a gap now. It's now 0.7 of a second that he's managed to make on the guys behind him. Rob Graham, though, is starting to slowly close that gap in. And this is the sort of racing that we'd like to see, isn't it? All the guys really neat and tidy through there. Obviously had that big shunt at the start, although the 2 Result Clothing guys at the back looks like they might have come together a little bit. Not sure if that was 2 Result Clothing, but I think it was. And Abdelkir rounds the last corner one more time to start lap number 5. And he's really holding his own out there at the moment, isn't he, Chaz? As we look a little bit further back, you've got Steve Hefford and Jason Cooper who are closing up on the front runners at a rate of knots. As we see, and Hefford's round in the background, and he's hit Joe McDonald as well. Oh, and he's come back onto the circuit. He's hit one of the Year 1 cars, and he's managed to get it going. Luckily, one of the Excite boys there managed to stay out of it. That was the number 18 of Jack Ashton. Managed to make a dart and stay out of it, but I think Steve Hefford's got damage, Chaz.
Yeah, I think there was just a little bit of contact going into turn 1 there, and he tried to hold it out of the way, but it just gradually rolled onto the racing line. And to be fair, he did a great job of turning it around when he did. Here we go, we'll have a look now. Alex on it, as always. So McDonald and Hardy going side by side. Oh, there's contact. And then, McDonald just gets tipped back the other way into the path of him. It looks like he tries to hold it on the brakes, but the car just doesn't want to stop there for Hefford. Manages to do it, and the Excite boys, like you say, doing a great job of dodging him there, but he's now in the midfield. That's a very damaged car there. You can see even the wheels are pointing left. That thing doesn't want to turn. Back to the front then. Look at this battle here. Scott Malcolm in there with Jack Ashton. Oh, and into the wall hard. Massive hit there for, I believe, that was Martin Sampson. Oh, well, that was tempting fate there from Martin. Not sure that. Well, I don't know. I hope whoever that was coming down the straight was already wearing brown overalls before that happened. He just gets loose on the curb on the inside. Oh, he just clips the grass actually on the AstroTurf. That's a massive hit. That's a huge hit into that wall. Really, really hard stuff. And we look at Rob Graham now in 2nd place. He's chasing down Al Amri, but look who's behind him. It's the number 1 car, last season's champion Jason Cooper. Turned round at turn 1 in race 1 from 3rd on the grid. And he's going to be hoping to get P1 in that number 1 car. Really hangs it around the outside of Rob Graham there. Great stuff by Jason Cooper, proving why he's champion of the series at the moment. Reigning champion, of course. And now he's going to be chasing down Abdelkir Al Amri for the lead. And, well, 8 laps to go, Tom. I'm pretty confident he can get that done, to be honest.
Yeah, I think unless he makes a mistake, he should be able to get this move done. It's like Schumacher hunting down something one of the Minardis, isn't it, from back in the day? He's just hunting down on his prey at the moment. I've got to say though, Al Amri is having a really good run here. and I think he's going to be one to watch out for the future, Chaz, especially in the AM Championship. As Jason Cooper gets a decent run coming out the last corner, but Al Amri is having none of it. He gets a better run coming out of that corner. Al Amri's got a bit of damage on the rear of the car. Don't think that'll upset him too much. Jason Cooper, though, down the inside into the last corner, keeps it nice and neat in 4th gear, sitting at about 130 k's, pushes it out wide, gets the move done. Back on board with Al Amri now. He's going to have another little look. Jason Cooper goes right to the inside, braking hard, down into 2nd gear, tip the car in, and then back on the power, push it out nice and wide. And that's how you do a move at Tsukuba, Chaz. Jason Cooper now leading the race, and he's up 13 places already, and he's going to be looking to make inroads now to pull away from these guys behind.
Yeah, definitely. It was a nice move by Jason, and Al Amri, to be fair though, really putting up a hard defence there. He didn't give up at all. He didn't sort of say, oh, he's the reigning champion, I'm going to let him go. So fair play to him in the number 23 machine. Rob Graham behind him in the number 22 car. He's got a second on him at the moment though, so it's looking quite safe for Al Amri in the AM classification at the moment. And speaking of, you can see that at the top of your screen right now, the little blue squares mean that a driver is in the Pro category, and green means that they're in AM. Got a couple of drivers tonight that may not be in the right class on screen, just having the sort of classifications updated by the series organisers, just to make sure everything's fine-tuned going forward. We see the number 2 car, Nick Mccarran, in position 22. Of course, finishing 2nd last season to Jason Cooper, taking Adam McNally in the championship in the final round at Bathurst. So, really good season for Nick. He was always just there or thereabouts in the points, really. I mean, he won't mind me saying that he wasn't sort of like a front runner like Jason or Luke Cooper or some of the other guys. He wasn't sort of very in your face, and he wasn't constantly winning races, but he just did everything he needed to, didn't he, Tom?
Yeah, he did, and that's what we come to expect from him. And I think that's what the mentality of a lot of drivers that tend to do well in this series. They just do what they need to do, and they don't tend to take unnecessary risks. We've got a car around in the back. Is that one of the Year 1 boys? I didn't quite catch it. I saw a glimpse of pink and fluorescent yellow, so I'm presuming it was one of them. I'm not quite sure which one it was, though.
It was like a cataract flying off the side of the screen. bright yellow Year 1 machine. We've not compared it to any sort of fruit yet, but I'm not quite sure.
Grapefruit and lemon went flying across the track.
I'm not sure how it managed
now. Paying victim to Jack Ashton, who is the Excite boys are really pushing on, Chaz. Jack Ashton up 23 places. Brian Holmes, though, up 25 places from the start. I know the incident at the start of the race will have helped him, but that's a brilliant run for him. He's up into 10th place overall, so if you're a fan of Brian, he's fast moving through the field, and that's what we like to see from the Excite boys. Although I've got to say, Chaz, they haven't set the world alight so far in round 1. They've been quick, they've been thereabouts, but they have spread out a little bit, and I think they're coming, I think Swift Cooper Esports might have upped their game for this season.
Yeah, they've got a great driver lineup as well, to be fair, of Swift Cooper. Obviously retaining Marcelo Panion for the 2nd series in a row. Jason and Luke Cooper, both very quick. Charlie Summers, we saw, won race 1. He's gained 14 places at the moment and is 23rd overall. Who else they've got? They've got Nils Carstensen as well joining them. Stevens, once again this season, who we saw him win a couple of races last season. You see him on screen now, just ahead of Ashley Beard. Well, Ashley's another one of them. He joined Excite midway through last season, as far as I know, and he is absolutely rapid as Ash. Very young lad, and he's got a lot of talent, so big career ahead of him, not just in sim racing, but I believe in real motorsport as well, in the real world. And you can see him now chasing down this fantastic train of cars. But as always, Tom, we've got a really good spread of talent battling for the first sort of top 10, 15 places. And we see Stevens there down the inside of Max Wright.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? And this is why we love this series. It does give some of the biggest names in British and European sim racing. Wow, as Beard gets really out of shape coming on there, putting the wheel on the grass. But no, you've got some of the biggest names in sim racing from the UK and Europe in this series. And that's why we've come to love it, because it puts them all into one sort of congealed mess sometimes as they're coming around Tsukuba. And other tracks that we end up going to, and it just causes some great racing, and that's why we love it, and that's why the fans of the series keep coming back season after season.
And the entry list as well, pretty hefty. Oh, Hardy there, hard into the back of Rob Graham, and Jeroen Ursum's going to try and take advantage of that. just to mention as well, you say UK and Europe. To be fair, Joe McDonald actually races from the States, so he does a great bit of great commitment to take part in the championship. So fair play to Joe, and he helps out with the paint packs and organising the series as well. So thank you very much to Joe for what he does, and of course thanks to Jamie Ayres. He does a lot of the admin work behind it. I believe Nick Mccarran involved as well. These guys do run a hell of a show. Marcelo Panion is going down the order. That's not something we like to see. Marcelo's absolutely rapid, but right now he's going rapid in the wrong direction by the look of it, Tom. He's flying down the timing screen. Let's have a quick look. He's in this battle here. Mikey Key, Craig Jones ahead of him. Craig Jones behind him. Is he gonna... Oh, he's dipped a wheel on the grass there, hasn't he? Oh, Key out of shape. Oh, Marcelo runs wide. Oh, big hit into the wall. And to be fair, he was lucky not to be collected by another car there. He should have really moved it out of the way a bit sooner. Oh, he does get caught. I was going to say, oh, there's another... One of the Year 1 cars gets absolutely tank slapped in the background there. Just catch a lovely little glimpse of the iRacing safety car there, the new Porsche that they've got, which is nice to see. But real shame there for Panion. But I don't know what happened to it, why it just sort of sat there and not moving, and whether he should have got it out of the way a little bit, I reckon.
Yeah, it was a strange incident, that one. He come bounding across the grass, didn't he? And I think he didn't expect the other car to be there quite so close. But you know, we're told within sim racing, it's a like the Colin McRae rally back in the day when you had the rally school, iRacing school. You taught if you've spun it, you just hold it on the brakes. Yeah. Don't try and move. But in that situation, I'd have probably edged it forward and tried to get it on the grass a little bit more. But we're not in the car, we're not the ones with adrenaline pumping through, so it's easy for us to say, yeah, I'd have moved the car in that situation. But then again, if we were there, actually sat in the car, as I say, adrenaline going, visor down, probably breathing quite heavy. I mean, sim racing can get quite immersive and quite tense at times. It's easy for us to say. So I think he did everything right, and I don't think he should be penalised in any way for it. And it's just a shame to see him now out of the race, because we know how quick Marcelo can be.
Yeah, of course, he joined the season halfway through last time round in the winter series, and he absolutely set the world alight, as you'd say. It was just amazing, incredible to watch. As right now, if you've got any sort of colour blindness, then I'd probably prefer that right now, as we're looking at Stesford and Stevens side by side. Bright yellow and green and pink and blue blur in my face right now. Stevens down the inside of Stesford makes the move, and Stesford clearly needs his number updating to number 16 within the league, as he has a big number 16 on the car but a 44 on the windscreen. So I'll make sure that is done for you, Graham, if you can hear me. But look at this right now, Tom. Jason Cooper, last series champion, making a proper impression and showing us why he should be the champion.
Yeah, he's just completely disappeared, hasn't he? And it's reminiscent of what we've seen from him for so long, and this is why he's the champion. He's held the car together well. He got ahead of Al Amri with no questions asked, really. Al Amri did put up a really sterling fight against him, though. But this is the reason why he is world champion. As he comes around the corner for the final time and takes the win in race 2. What a brilliant drive for him. Goes towards the inside, towards the pit lane to say thank you to the team. And then round he goes. But yeah, a really well-held drive. Al Amri comes across the line in P2, Chaz, for your AM race win. I believe he's AM. I've got him as pro down on my screen. But I'm sure we can talk with the event organisers as the rest of the guys come across the line now. Some fierce battles in the background. A couple of the Swift Cooper Esports guys in there as well. And Auto Mech Knock Hill. So, yeah, I think Tsukuba on the whole has been quite an interesting evening. We had a bit more of incidents this time round as we have a little look back at Carl Jacquelet taking on Ververke. Both of them with massive damage. Jacquelet nearly gets to the line but doesn't quite get it. But yeah, I think it's been an eventful evening, isn't it, boys? We've had a couple of incidents in there so far, but what I'm really looking forward to is I want Swift Cooper Esports and SimLab and Excite to have a race around here, possibly in race 3 or race 4. They all get together and have a fierce battle at the front.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we'll see that over the course of the season quite a lot. We saw it last time round, and it was great to watch because there's so much talent in those teams. and see them all go at it on track together was awesome. And right now, I believe we're about to see Jason Cooper light up the rears in the MX5 and do some celebratory donuts. There he is. Well deserved as well. Great way to bounce back and start his season off. Jeroen Ursum, whoa, nearly making contact there. As I think Ashley Beard just comes and says hello to Jason Cooper while he's doing his donuts. But for the second time tonight, Tom, we have the results.
So Jason Cooper takes a really well-deserved win from Abdul Kir Al Amri. There was 6.1 seconds between them in the end, and he only overtook him, I believe it was lap 8. So brilliant drive there from Jason. Rob Graham finishes in third for Team Auto Mech Not Kill. Sorry, Abdul Kir Al Amri winning your AM race, I believe, followed by Rob Graham, and then Carl Hardy in P4 for Result Clothing. Jeroen Ursum in the Alex Special in P5, and then Jack Ashton in P6. Brian Holmes comes home in P7, and then Kip Stevens in 8th. 9th, Craig Jones. 10th, Ashley Beard. 11th, Graham Sessford. 12th, Mikey Key. James Ritchie in 13th. Pete Van Gool in 14th. They'll be looking to come through the field in the next few races. Max Wright, 15th. Charlie Summers, your race 1 winner, down in 16th. 17th, Benjamin Mears. 18th, Elmar Elacotti in 18th, sorry. 19th, Scott Malcolm. 20th, Nick McCarran. 21st, Anna McNally. 22nd, Lorne Murray. Alex Rivet in 23rd, David Ayres 24th, Roy Viverka in 25th, Carl Jackalette in 26th, Dale Bennison in 27th, Martin Plowman 28th, Steve Hefford after his incident finished 29th, Stuart Dick in 30th, Jamie Ayres in 31st, and then your non-finishers, I believe we've got quite a few, Michael Wortman, Marcelo Pagnon, Dave Hampson, Michael Barry, Ralph Cullinan, Martin Sampson, Joe McDonald, Billy Rose, Cesare Rizzo once more didn't finish, Luke Cooper, Niels Carstensen, and Will Daniels.
Thanks very much, Tom. Big field for the second race, as we usually get, and hopefully all the drivers that we've seen so far tonight will continue to stick around for the remaining 2 races. And to sort out the grid for the third of tonight's races is Alex Simpson with the reverse grid wheel.
Yep, here we go. Straight into it. So we're going to get predictions in from our Mystic Meg. This is number 20. Let's see what we get. Far off. Always a segment or so out, isn't it? Looks like it's going to be 35th. A big one.
So that would mean that Jamie Ayres will be on pole position alongside Stuart Dick in second place. Steve Hefford, Jamie Ayres' teammate, will be third, with Martin Plowman and Dale Bennison 4th and 5th. So, for race 3 of the evening, if you join me, Tom and Alex on the iRacing Esports Network in about 10-15 minutes time, we'll bring you more of the same action from Tsukuba. So go away. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and Tsukuba for the BSR MX5 Pro Series. We're here for race 3 of the evening. Charles Draycott, Tom Jacobs and Alex Simpson. And Tom, another reverse grid for us, so once again, more action.
Yeah, it's going to be some brilliant racing, isn't it? Welcome back, everybody. Jamie Ayres is currently leading the way. Stuart Dick behind him in second. Third, Steve Hefford. Martin Plowman in fourth. And Dale Bennison in fifth. Carl Jacquelet in sixth. Roy Viverke in seventh. David Ayres in eighth. Alex Rivet in ninth. Lorne Murray in 10th. Adam McNally in 11th. Nick Mccarran in 12th. 13th, Scott Malcolm. 14th is Elmar Elakati. And away we go. Big plumes of smoke from everybody there. Jamie Ayres covers off the inside line from Stuart Dick. That's brought Steve Hefford in. Oh, nearly touched the go in. Hefford goes up the inside of Stuart Dick there. Stuart Dick looks like he might be round. He manages to hold the car, but that's cost him some places. And this has brought Jamie Ayres, has allowed him to really start to pull away, Chaz, although we know how quick Steve Hefford is. And we know that he's going to be making some serious inroads to try and catch Jamie Ayres.
Yeah, with the two of them being teammates, though, you'd expect them to work together, but yeah, they still want to race against each other. I suppose that's part of the wonderful thing in this series. There are so many teams and so many people that are teammates that work together, but you can still have fights with everyone around you on the track, no matter who they are or what livery they're running. And it's good to see the two SimLab cars at the front. They didn't have the most amazing season last time round, Tom. The Swift Cooper Esports guys and the Excite Energy iRacing team were really, really quick. And the ex-Momo team didn't make inroads into the championship as much as we thought, but great showing here for them with the Swift Cooper Esports drivers taking the first 2 wins. You're going to be hoping that one of these guys will at least take the win in this one.
Yeah, I think they've gone away after the break between seasons and worked on setups, worked on drivers, driving styles and things like that. Of course, we saw from previous times they were so quick and they really were the team to beat. And I was quite surprised, really. They were obviously quick and they were like a Red Bull. They were winning a few races here and there, but it was always Excite and Swift Cooper that were taking most of the wins away from them. But it's nice to see here they are pushing hard. Currently first and second. Got a little replay on the go here. Looking back, Alex has just brought up for us. As we go down in towards the hairpin. Oh, and everyone just checks up massively. I don't think anyone really. One of the Result Clothing boys ended up on the infield, but everyone else just going nose to nose, tail to tail. But everyone seems to be pushing through nicely at the moment. Jamie Ayres still leading then from Steve Hefford. Martin Plowman in P3 at the moment, and he's not letting them get away, Chaz, is he?
No, definitely not. Martin, new name to the series for Fury Sim Sports, I believe Dan Blake's teammate, who runs in the MX5 Monday Cup. But yeah, he's really getting his elbows out here and chasing down Steve Hefford. I'm not going to lie, I was expecting Ayres and Hefford to have an easy run here, but yeah, Hefford under a lot of pressure at the moment, and he's doing a lot of work for Jamie by acting as the Nico Rosberg rear gunner, the Valtteri Bottas. Oh, there's a car off in the background. Summers and Bennison both going red on the timing sheet on the left. That is David Ayres of Result Clothing, who is off at the hairpin watching the entire field go through. I think someone else is around. Who's that on the infield? Oh, there's a SimLab car. That's Rizzo. That's number 23. That's Al Amri, Am winner from race 2. He's got going again, but albeit slowly. Back to the front then. Jamie Ayres still leading the way, Tom, but Hefford seems to have put a little bit of a gap on Plowman now, but that might not last for very long.
No, it might not. But we know how quick Plowman is, actually. He's coming to this series, and look at the inroads he's making. Pulling away from Carl Jacquelet now. There's a second gap between him and Jacquelet. Further back, on board with Plowman. Great to see the wheel working away, and the flames on his lid in the mirror. As he just sticks with Hefford and Ayres, picks his braking point, dips the car in, down into second, bit of inside curb, then back on the throttle, pushing hard, pushes the car out nice and wide, then back over, just clip the curb here, you don't want to upset the car too much, then back on the power again. Just looks like they've got 2 guys in the front, got a little bit of a better run through there, hard on the brakes again, tipping the car in, down into second, nice clip of the curb once again on the inside, then push the car out wide, and then it's just max throttle all the way down the back straight. You want to try and catch as much of the slipstream you can on Steve Hefford, and Jamie Ayres in front. Hefford having a little look on the inside of on the onboard as he tips it into the last corner now. Does Martin Plowman, ready to start lap number 5, and having a little bit of look at the further back. One of the Year 1 cars there, Chaz, going into the pit lane, might have a bit of an issue. but there's Brian Holmes there, coming under pressure from Lorne Murray and Jack Ashton. And Adam McNally at the moment, though, Chaz, is the leading Excite car. And he's fighting with Roy Viverke on my timing screen at the moment. So the Excite boys spreading themselves out a lot more this season.
Yeah, they normally hunt in packs. They aren't often one without another, as you can see from Brian Holmes and Jack Ashton at the moment, with Kip Stevens behind them. They're having a smashing event so far. They're always one of those teams. They're just always there, aren't they? I mean, we do say it every round, but they just are. There's no other way of saying it. They are always just there. They're always quick. Ryan Walker as well last season was another highlight for me. I mean, he was brilliant in that car, and obviously from being an Apex commentating colleague as well, it was great to see him doing so well. Just to mention, Max Wright has gone flying down the order. Not quite sure what happened to him, but you saw him drop off the timing sheet on the left a moment ago. Thank you, Alex. Very quick on the cameras as always. Here he goes into the hairpin then. Is he going to just spin it up on the exit? Yep. There she goes. Spins it round again though. Does a fine job. I think it's just because of how bunched up they still were, Tommy. He's lost a lot more places and it probably looked a bit worse on the timing sheet than it actually was.
Yeah, it was a lovely little pirouette, wasn't it? He managed to, a bit of ballet on the grass. Managed to keep it out of everyone's harm's way. And yeah, I think, as you say, because everyone was bunched up, it looks a lot worse than it actually was. It's like the start of any sort of race, someone goes off and you see him flying down the timing sheet just because everyone's bunched up, and then they end up finishing like P10 or something, because you can just make those places up quite easily if you're in a bunch. Looking at Mikey Key now for Result Clothing, he's coming under pressure from Jason Cooper, your race 2 winner. Looks like Cooper's probably going to stick one up the inside, although he's a wise old owl. Although he does, I thought he was going to back out of it then, but he has made the move stick. Mikey Key giving him plenty of room. And through Jason Cooper goes. If you're a Jason Cooper fan, he's now up into P17. And he's making his way towards the front of the field, Chaz. He's currently up 14 places from the start.
Yeah, he's done good progress so far, and we've learned to expect that from them, really. It's one of those series sometimes where, I mean, you do see a big spread of talent, you see some of the quicker guys coming through, but I think that's part of the enjoyment, really. I mean, if I was someone like Jason Cooper, for example, who last season we saw him gain place after place after place every single race, you'd really start to enjoy it because you are making the moves, and it's what comes with the racecraft. I mean, Jason and Luke do have real-life motorsport involvement as well, so if anything, it's probably good practice for them, really. I mean, without any sort of consequence if it goes a little bit wrong, but hopefully something that's going to not go wrong with any consequences. Oh, Steve Efford actually coming out of that last corner, but this top 3, what a scrap we've got going on as the sun sets and the iRacing, sort of the wonderful lighting of iRacing comes into effect once again. It's looking great.
Yeah, it's looking gorgeous here at Tsukuba, isn't it, in Japan. Brilliant lighting. The brake lights ablaze as they come through the tight hairpin on the infield section of this circuit. Martin Plowman really not letting Steve Hefford and Jamie Ayres go. He's right there or thereabouts with them, isn't he? Steve Hefford still trying to get past his teammate. I think there might be a little bit of team orders in this, and I think they might save it all for the last lap. We're about at the halfway mark now. We've just crossed it, so yeah, I think it's all going to come down to the wire at the end of this one, Chaz.
Yeah, it's going to be a good scrap all the way through. We always do see that from these guys. It's very consistent, that's the thing. A lot of the drivers in this series are very consistent. There's the odd mistake here and there, but it's one of them where they're constantly on the edge in this car. There's so... I mean, I drove it on one of the setups that these guys use. I think it was one of the Excite Energy setups. Oh, Brian Holmes down the inside of McRitchie there. And from racing this car on the baseline setup in the iRacing official series and then going to one of the more sort of finely tuned setups that these guys run, there's so much oversteer. You literally have to put like not even 45 degrees of lock in the thing, and it wants to spin and it wants to go. They've dialed so much front end into it that it really does handle well, so it's not surprising. Oh, I was going to say someone spins, but McRitchie got turned there by I think it was Ashton. I think he just ran wide on exit, to be honest. I don't think Ashton would have meant to turn in because they were having a good scrap, but I was just going to say, it's so easy to spin it on the setups that these guys have got. It doesn't surprise me that they often do, because it's that well dialed in at the front that the back end's just sort of along for the ride, and if you get it wrong, so's the driver, I suppose. There's Jack Lett now under attack from... as he's sideways, really sideways around the last corner there. Manages to keep it together, though. Maybe it was the bright colour of his own wheels that that put him off.
Probably, Chaz. I'd say it was. It did look brilliant on the camera, though, didn't it? Coming broadside, it was like something out of fifth gear on a Saturday evening, seeing him coming around there. But yeah, as you say, I think also what helps, what makes them so oversteery when they dial them in as well, is because obviously with these cars, all the weight's over the front. The engine and it's sat quite far forward in an MX5, and it's right over the top of the front axle. So that also can upset it, and that's what I've found with the new BMW M8 GT we've got on iRacing. It handles like no other GT car, especially with brake bias. I think we're putting it on about 48%, just because all the weight's over the front of the car, and that it can make the rear quite loose. So it's not as prominent in MX5 because obviously it's a lot less power and less weight and things like that. But that's probably why they do slide around with them so much. And of course, as we know, Chaz, with the faster guys, a loose setup is a fast setup.
Yeah, loose is fast. It's often a phrase that gets thrown around. Steve Hefford in the lead of the race now, with Jamie Ayres second. Plowman still there in third. Carl Jacquelet just in the background in fourth place overall. He's leading the AM battle ahead of, I believe that is Stuart Dick, isn't it, in fifth place? It is. Adam McNally sixth. Roy Ververke, I think, is the only car in the position where he started. He is. He's seventh overall in the number 4 car. Great finishing position for him, that, actually. Fourth place overall in the championship, considering he's an AM as well. Really, really good job and a good showing consistency. Roy's been like that for a while, to be fair, on iRacing. Previous series that he's raced in, he's managed to sneak his way up the standings and get some fantastic results in. But this is great from the SimLab guys at the moment. Tom really seems to be controlling it now with Hefford ahead of Ayres.
Yeah, they're controlling it well, aren't they? And this is what they'll want. They'll want decent positions. Obviously, it's a long way to go in this season, but you want to have the best start possible for the team, and a 1-2 for them would really, really make their efforts later on in the season just that little bit easier. Obviously, you know, we've seen many championships with it, excuse me, within iRacing and within real life as well, come down to just 1 point at the end of the season. So you just want to, especially at the start of the season, just get as many as you want, try not to make the mistakes. And I think that's what we're seeing here this evening, that the guys are just playing it a little bit safer than they would do towards the end of the season, like what we saw before, where last season towards the end it was just literally out and out, flat out, as fast as we can go, everyone's sideways out of every corner. Whereas this time it seems to be the guys have calmed down a lot, and I think that's just testament to it being the start of the season and just everyone trying to get a decent result. Steve Hefford nearly goes into the back of the back markers there, Chaz.
Yeah, just got to play it safe there, I suppose, but it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other when back markers are involved, and on such a narrow circuit as well. As we see McNally and Dick side by side round the final corner. McNally hanging it round the outside. Stewart giving him plenty of room there in the asymmetric car. Love that livery. James McRitchie was running it last season, and he's brought a few of his mates along to the party for this season. Look at McNally around the outside. What commitment there to keep the car on the wider line. Still side by side. He's going to have the inside line into the hairpin now, which is exactly what he wants. There's an also McNockhill car getting well out of the way out there. That was Rob Graham. And into the fight comes Charlie Summers, race 1 winner. He's going to try and get involved with Stewart as well now. Great little train of cars going on here. You can see the wonderful reflections coming off the side of them in this wonderful sunset. 2 laps to go after this one. And, well, you would have thought this was the first lap with the amount these guys are pushing, Tom. This is great. Yeah,
this is great racing to watch. Pete Van Gool, we haven't spoken about him much, either have we? He's been thereabouts all evening, but he's currently running in P9 for SimLab. SimLab having a really good time of it out there, and this has provided some great racing for us. As you say, Chaz, I always say the midfield's probably the best part of this, as Van Gool gets out way out wide and sticks one on the grass. But yeah, I always say that the AM guys and the pro guys that are in the midfield of every race seem to provide the best racing. Obviously we do get some really good stuff at the front and the back as well, but once they're in a big pack like this and fighting really hard for as many points as they can actually fathom. I mean, you've got Brian Holmes, Elmar Lacotti in there, Pete Van Gool, Kip Stevens and Jason Cooper as well. It really does shape up to provide some really fierce and fast racing for us.
Yeah, in such a compressed little pack as well. So many feisty drivers that just want to make every single move at every single corner. It's great to chuck them all into one. Roy Viverke then, with Brian Holmes behind. You can see the movers and shakers, as Tom would call them, on the left-hand side there. Cooper, 18 places gained at the moment in 13th overall. Ralph Cullinan up 15 places into 20th. Great drive from him. Just seeing if there's anybody else further down the order. 19 places gained by Will Daniels, 22nd place overall. So really, really good driving by these boys out there at the moment. Carl Jacquelet in the number 42 car now, with Summers and McNally behind him, still side by side. Some fantastic scrapping going on. McNally, of course, sporting the number 3. Oh, he's clipped the back of Jacquelet. He runs wide into Summers. The two of them lose out there. Jacquelet actually managed to save the car. Great save, Tom. But yeah, McNally and Summers, unfortunately, the two that lose out there.
Yeah, Jacquelet did very, very well to hold that car. Went absolutely broadside, didn't it? And he managed to save it. But here we come then. The top 3 at the moment: Hefford, Ayres and Plowman, all coming into the last corner for the final time. Round they go. Ayres really trying to put the pressure on Hefford, but I don't think he's going to get there. And Steve Hefford takes the win then from Jamie Ayres and Martin Plowman. And wow, what a brilliant drive by those guys. Viverke now having a little bit of fight. Pete Van Gaal and Brian Holmes. And I think Brian Holmes just managed to get it in the 58. But another great evening's worth of racing, Chaz. And we've still got one to go, I believe.
Yeah, great race that one. Really well deserved by the SimLab boys, though. Great to see them get a 1-2. It's been a long time coming, I think, to be fair. As we see Niels Carstensen using every little bit of the track. I'm hoping to see him get a couple of wins this year, because Niels Carstensen is the sort of name that you want to be seeing at the top of a podium. That's a proper race driver's name, that is. So hopefully he'll be doing just as well as the rest of the Swift Cooper Esports boys, as we see Hefford and Ayres getting a little bit lively on the what they would call a slowdown lap, but very very much worth the celebration though for these guys. They'll be very happy with that, especially Steve. He's been plugging away in this championship for a very long time now, and he's been very quick in that car. It's good to see the wins coming back to him again, because he had a very, very tough sort of latter part of the campaign last time round. A lot of incidents and reverse grids and little penalties and things here and there. It really added up for him and made life very difficult. But for the third time tonight, seems I can't count, we should have the results, Tom.
Yeah, Steve Hefford takes the race win ahead of his teammate Jamie Ayres. That's a SimLab 1-2. Martin Plowman held his own though, didn't he, and finished P3 to round off the podium. Your AM race winner Carl Jacquelet really made some inroads during the winter break and has come back fighting, so he takes your AM win in 4th, Stuart Dick in 5th, and then Brian Holmes in 6th. Roy Viverke P2 in AM finishes 7th overall. Pete Van Gaal in 8th, Elmar Erlacotti in 9th. Charlie Summers in 10th, Jason Cooper in 11th, Kip Stevens in 12th, Jack Ashton in 13th, 14th, Adam McNally, Marcelo Panion in 15th, Dave Hampson in 16th, 17th was Ashley Beard, 18th and 3rd in AM was Benjamin Mears for Team Automech Not Kill, Lorne Murray in 19th, 20th Luke Cooper, Ralph Cullinan 21st, Max Wright 22nd, Will Daniels finished in 23rd, Carl Hardy 24th, Cesare Rizzo in 25th, Jeroen Ursum in 26th, Niels Carstensen in 27th, Chaz's favourite race driver name there, Craig Jones in 28th, David Ayres in 29th, 30th Michael Barry, Nick Mccarran in 31st, Mikey Key in 32nd, Graham Sesford in 33rd, Alex Rivet in 34th, 35th was Dale Bennison, Scott Malcolm finished 37th for Result Clothing.
Thanks very much, Tom. And for what I believe is the third and final time tonight, we should have Mr. Alex Simpson with the reverse grid wheel.
Yeah, indeed we do. Sorry about the double tap there at the end, just to get rid of the final few drivers, but yeah, I got them. Right, get the wheel. You say final time of the night. Who's going to get it? 35th we ended on last time. Decent spin, could come back around, you know, could be very, very close. Not gonna make it, but it is close. Full -4.
Have a quick look through the order then and see where we're at with that. So it would have been Scott Malcolm. I hate to say it, unfortunately, Scott. But if we take 4 off that, we're looking at Mikey Key on the front row, alongside SimLab Racing driver Nick Mccarran. Then it's teammates Mick Barry and David Ayres, and then Craig Jones. So it's 4 Result Clothing cars in the top 5. And if you join me, Tom, and Alex on the iRacing Esports Network in about 10-15 minutes' time, we'll see if they can convert that into a result. Don't go away.
it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and Tsukuba for the BSR MX5 Pro Series, fourth and final race of the night. And as you can see, we're under some wonderful, wonderful sunset conditions. Chaz Draycott here with Tom Jacobs and Alex Simpson on the cameras. And we've had a great night so far, Tom. Some really good racing with these guys, and seen a lot of well-deserved names at the top of the standings.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the pilot episode, so to speak, for the rest of the season. It's the good old names again: Swiftcube Esports, Excite, and SimLab. The only ones I'm really set the world alight so far. Race 1 we had the third and fourth were Excite. I just don't know whether maybe their setup suits this track very much, but I'm sure coming towards maybe even in the next race and then the following rounds they'll be back up there at the top and fighting for race wins once again.
Certainly will. And fourth and final race tonight, another reverse grid, of course. So it's thrown up quite a interesting mix of drivers near the front of the field again. As I said at the end of the last one, if I can get my words out, we've got 4 of the Result Clothing cars in the top 5 for this one. And I believe it was Nick Mccarran joining them in the front of the grid. So we'll see how they can get on. You can just see right now the wonderful skies and the lighting effects that iRacing have brought in. We should be under lights by the time this race finishes, and at the end of the day, Tom, that's an extra bit of distraction for these drivers, so it could make it even more interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it comes into play as much at Tsukuba, but it definitely will come into play, so to speak. Chaz and Alex and I will all tell you, racing at night and iRacing now is a completely different game altogether. Just even hitting your braking points, because sometimes I use silly things like there'll be a mark in the grass on the right of the circuit that I'll use as a braking point, and when it goes really dark, you just can't see it. And it really does change the aspect of racing altogether. I don't think it'll be as prominent at Tsukuba because it's quite a short track, but at places like Imola, I'm sure you'll tell us, Alex, it can be a right nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I don't think I've ever done like a night race or sort of dusk or anything at Imola yet, so it just goes to show that I need to get out there and do some more racing, really. But certainly on some that I have done, because I was looking at probably having to jump in the car at Sebring, and like you say, that was for the 12-hour race. I'd only done daytime testing, and the minute that there was like, oh, you got to get in the night, I jumped on board, and that was quite different.
Yeah, definitely. It's a completely different game out there when it goes dark. But here we have the grid for us. Mikey Key sits on pole, behind him Nick Mccarran for SimLab, Michael Barry in third, David Ayres in fourth, and Craig Jones in fifth. So that's a Result Clothing bar Nick Mccarran top 5. Niels Carstensen sits in sixth, Jeroen Ursa in seventh, Cesare Rizzo in eighth, Carl Hardy in ninth, and Will Daniels in 10th. I believe the revs are rising already. 4 lights, 5 lights. They drop the clutches, big plumes of smoke behind them, and away we go. Mikey Key gets a decent start from Nick Mccarran as they come towards turn number 1 now. And he just tips the car in there, and everyone through nice and cleanly, nice and linear. The Result Clothing boys, we've got one of them slightly out wide. I think that was Craig Jones in the 43, and he's now falling black. It might have been David Ayres, actually, judging from my timing screen. Everyone's streaming down. The light's looking fantastic. One of the Excite guys is round. Oh, and they're all coming together on the hairpin. Everyone just hold their brakes. A lot of Swift Cooper Esports guys involved in that, Chaz. We've got the number 36 round there as well.
Summers and Hefford in there as well, I think.
Yeah, that's a disaster for SimLab and Swift Cooper Esports there.
And Jason Cooper as well. So all 3 race winners tonight are actually the bottom 3 at the moment. Jamie Ayres is down there as well. Elmar Elaket is down there. Dale Bernison. Oh, so all 3.
Charlie Summers.
I can't believe that. All 3 race winners so far tonight. So at least we know we're going to get another race winner, I suppose. But even Jamie Ayres as well, second place in that 3rd race. He's been taken out by that. Just seemed like someone got out of shape and a bit of contact. Oh, speaking of out of shape, who's that? That's one of the Automet cars. That's Ben Mears. Going for an absolute ride as Rizzo goes sideways into turn 1. It's, someone's turned the lights out and they've all gone mental, Tom.
Yeah, I think this is what we were saying earlier, that it's a different game out there. Once it starts to go dark, I think the guys as well, it's been a long evening. We've been on for a good 2 and a bit hours now. and 2.25 hours they've been driving round for. Of course, they've had the practice session about an hour beforehand as well, pre-race warm-up practice, and yeah, I think they'll just be looking to get this one done. The guys' fatigue most definitely starting to come into play, especially for those guys who are in VR and with direct drive wheels and things like that. Just know that VR will be coming into play. Sorry, no, fatigue will be starting to come into play now as they round the last corner to start lap number 3. Then Nick Mccarran leads from Neil Carstensen. That could be a fierce battle towards the end, couldn't it? Michael Barry and Craig Jones in 3rd and 4th result clothing, and then Jeroen Ursum for the iRacing Academy team is in P5, or Alex's Whirlybird as now I'm starting to call it.
I'm loving that for a name. Well, that's going to definitely stick. Jeroen Ursum, you have started something there, son. Niels Carstensen then 2nd place at the moment. Mick Barry, Craig Jones, Jeroen Ursum, there he is in 5th place. Mikey Key behind him. And these windscreen banners are no easier to read when it goes dark, it seems. We can see Carstensen there dropping down a couple of places. Not sure what happened there. Don't know if you can get slowdowns at Tsukuba, can you? You might have just cut one of the little right lefts there, maybe. I suppose you could easily do it. Oh, is Jeroen Ursum way out of shape there, out the hairpin. Does a great job to save it. Will Daniels getting involved there in the number 12 car. His name we've not really seen tonight for V-Racer. Really well-known name on the iRacing service. Really, really fast driver. Very quick and very good at what he does. He's putting Mikey Key under pressure now. It'd be good to see Will get some results tonight. I think he's just been involved in quite a lot of incidents, to be fair, Tom. So he's getting a good chance to prove himself now as he comes through the field.
Yeah, he's a well-known guy within the iRacing circuit, and V-Racer is certainly a name that we've all heard before. If you've been around for some time, or you've been living under a rock, yeah, they're definitely a team that one to be reckoned with. We've heard a bit of contact there. Not sure it was. Oh, and Jeroen Ursum does get hit. The Whirlybird is going for a spin, but he manages to hold it as they come down now, and it's really starting to turn into a fierce battle. This Will Daniels up the back of Jeroen Ursum as they're all coming through. Ursum really having to hold himself now. Will Daniels gets a decent run out of the hairpin. And it looks like he's got that move done. And Jeroen Ursum is now coming under pressure from Carl Hardy. I think Carl Hardy's gone past as well. And I think Jeroen, Chaz, might have a little bit of aero damage because he was lacking a bit of speed down the back straight there.
Yeah, the odd little knock on these cars can affect them quite a bit. We saw a lot of differences in straight line speed last season at certain rounds where people had damage, so fingers crossed they can get some sort of help from a bit of the slipstream down the straights, but we'll have to see as the race goes on. Really good bunch of drivers here, all scrapping, as we still look at Will Daniels in 6th place. He's going to try and get past Mikey Key, puts his nose down the inside, a little bit of contact. They do well both to not spin it there. As you can see now, Ralph Cullinan down the inside of Adam McNally, having a great scrap. And as Alex has said before, these liveries, I think the best word for them is pop. They really do pop at night, and look how bright the whole field looks. It's brilliant, awesome to see. Very colourful field, some really nice designs out there. Oh, and that's Carl Hardy around the front of Max Wright. Manages to get some help though and face the same way actually, Tom, and no one else gets involved unless, oh, it sounds like, yeah, it's kicking off behind them there. There's Dave Hampson involved. There's a few more drivers dropping down as well. I think David Ayres is in that one.
Yeah, unfortunate for them all there. We knew it was going to happen. Oh, Will Daniels has gone. That's a really big hit. And if this was real life racing, I think the medical car would have been dispatched on that one. That would have been a real hard hit on the front of that car. He's kept it going, and with iRacing's new physics to do with stalling and things like that, if he's got that enabled, which I'm sure he has, he didn't stall it, but he has pulled over to the side now. Unfortunate for Will Chaz, and that is another case of commentator's curse that we've given him. Yep,
I do apologise, Will. I may be seeing one of Will's friends, Mr. Josh Martin, in a couple of days' time, and I'm sure he'll probably have a word with me about that, but we'll leave that for Wednesday. I say a couple of days, actually. Wednesday, tomorrow. That's really bad. Anyway, Stevens, we see now, has got Carl Hardy behind him. Carl just managed to survive that little turn earlier. He's got right behind him now Alex Rivette, swapping places this way and that way, trying to chase him down. Carl Hardy on the inside line, hugging the curb. You can see Rivette took a wider entrance to the corner there, Tom. Tried to get a bit of a slingshot, but quite a massive corner, so it's probably not the easiest thing to do in the world to get a cutback there, really.
No, he's not. Definitely. He did quite well there, to be honest. As we look back on board with Alex Rivet in the number 16 Year 1 racing car. And they're going quite well, aren't they? Michael Barry, though, looks to be as if he's moved down a few places there. Not sure what happened to him. Ashley Beard's managed to get in front of him a little bit up ahead. Alex Rivet just tipping the car in, though. Nice clean line through there to hold his position. Here we go, then. Don't know what happened to him. Coming down towards the hairpin. Hard on the brakes. Swift Cooper Esports car goes around the outside. Oh, and he just got a little bit out of shape. That cost him quite dearly. He was lucky. He was lucky there, Chaz, not to spin it round a full 360 degrees.
Yeah, he certainly was. It could have been quite easily done, to be fair, but yeah, managed not to. Did a fine job with it. Just looking now, then Jeroen Ursum on the outside of Adam McNally. Adam really taking a pretty deep line on the curb there. Cesario Rizzo involved in this battle too. Just behind them is the car of Ashley Beard, so McNally's teammate hoping to provide a little bit of backup for him. Good little scrap between these boys. Rizzo giving Beard just a very minimal amount of room that he needs to get around that corner there, but he allows him the space either way. Through he goes, and just in front now we've got Luke Cooper coming under pressure from Adam McNally. Luke Cooper's been had a bit of a quiet one tonight, hasn't he, Tom? He's not really been in your face tonight.
Yeah, we've not really spoken about him too much, have we? We've spoken about his teammate Jason Cooper quite a lot. Oh, as they make contact there between Cooper and McNally. Exciting Swift Cooper Esports having a bit of argy-bargy. But, yeah, as you say, we've not really spoken about him too much. He's always been thereabouts. But he's been a bit of a grey man in the room. He's not really done anything for us to comment on too much so far, but he's in the thick of it now. He's got McNally and Rizzo and Ashley Beard, Michael Barry falling down the order once again. He's having a bit of a torrid time out there at the moment in race number 4. But we said at the start, Chaz, didn't we? It's a completely different race when it starts to go dark.
Yeah, there's a lot more to focus on. There's something for you to focus on. Cesario Rizzo rounded into the wall. I think he just lit up the rear on the exit, to be fair, Tom. It just didn't seem to stop spinning. It was quite fortunate for the car next to him that he didn't actually turn him around. But we'll have a quick look back. Alex, hot on it as always. Thank you very much, buddy. Turns in then. Side by side with Mikey Key. Yeah, he just spins it up, and luckily for Mikey Key, he goes into the door of it rather than the rear corner. But I don't know whether he got a little bit of help on his way round there, to be fair, but whether he did or not remains to be seen. Looking at the moment then, Adam McNally chasing down Luke Cooper in the Swift Cooper Esports car. Those Swift Cooper cars not so sort of differentiatable, if that's a word. I'm going to sort of chuck that out there and see if anyone, you know, they used to have a lot more different colours on the car last season to tell them apart. Now it's just a roll cage, and I think it suits them a little bit better because the blue livery looks quite nice. There's Billy Rose and the Automet car at the top of the screen there, giving me hives as they go side by side down to the hairpin. Billy Rose cuts in front though, gets the move done, and then he gets turned. So off he goes. Not really what we wanted to see there, but a shame that for Billy Rose, because I think he got that move done quite nicely, and then the Automet car just sort of went down the inside and turned him back around. Not quite sure who that was, but yeah, he's not going to be happy with that one. As we look at Carl Jacquelet now, through goes Marcelo Pagnon. Marcelo making a decent run back through the field. He's up, well, I say it was him making the decent run. It's actually Carl Jacquelet making the run. He's 14 places gained. Abdulkir Al-Amri has gained 21 places. Adam Delmont's gained 24. So fantastic progress by him. There's a lot of guys have gained 14 places actually. McNally's on 13. Alex Rivet on 22. Kip Stevens on 10. You can see them all on the side of the screen there. Delmont, biggest mover so far in the field. Look at it go. Through the hairpin there. A great shot that is, isn't it, Tom, as it pans around with them. Really, really nice to see that.
Yeah, it is. It's great camera work, Alex, I've got to say. You've been on point all evening with this. The lights absolutely ablaze as they come round on lap number 11 then. Luke Cooper currently running in P4. He's got quite a gap, though, to try and catch Craig Jones. It's about 4.6 seconds at this point, so I think unless the top three have a little bit of a coming together, I don't really think he's going to be able to make that up, but you can never tell with him motor racing. Anything can happen, and we've seen it a million times. People leading and then falling off at the end, and so it remains to be seen whether he will stay in fourth or whether he'll move up or backwards. But I'm not going to give him the commentator's curse too badly on that one. As they all come down the hill, brilliant camera shot that. Headlights ablaze, hard on the brakes, brake disc glowing. Tip it in, back onto the power, and you've just got to follow you just got to follow the guy in front of you, Chaz. And I think that's like you said before, with the MX5 being such a momentum-based car, it's about just following the guy in front as best you can and just making a little bit of time here and there, whether it's slipstream or late on the brakes.
Yeah, definitely. So sorry, I don't know what happened there. I was going to say, yeah, definitely. It's one of those tracks as well at Tsukuba where you've got to just sort of follow the guy in front for a little bit, identify where you're quicker than him or slower than him, and just pick your moves. You've just got to really be careful about it, because if you go and try and make every single corner an opportunity, it can just make life a little bit more difficult for yourself, because you may go for a move that's not quite on, you could end up in an incident in worst case, or you could sort of lose places to the guys behind you if you're trying to have a scrap with them. So it is a bit of mind games really, but as you say, momentum car, so you've just got to try and stay as close as you can to the car in front. But that's what we've seen tonight, and there's been quite a bit of contact between some of these guys. But it's a new season, they're all sort of getting used to the car once again, getting used to being around each other again, and there's a couple of new drivers in the mix as well. Craig Jones, who we're looking at right now though, got to give him a shout out for tonight. Fantastic third place at the moment for Result Clothing. He's the highest placed AM driver, and it's good to see Craig getting the results, because he got caught up in quite a lot of incidents last season, didn't he, Tom? He was usually the innocent party in a lot of it as well.
Yeah, he was, and it's unfortunate for him from last season how that sort of shaped up his championship. But he really is holding his own at the moment for Result Clothing. Sat in P3, putting in similar lap times thereabouts to some of the pro guys actually. So fair play to him. As I say, we've not mentioned him much this evening, but he's really putting on a good show. As we see Delmont now coming round the final corner, and he's in a right scrap with Plowman, Ayres, Hampson's in there as well. We've got Jacqueline up there. So really good scrapping. Delmont has a little bit of a look up the inside for Excite Racing, gets the move done on Martin Plowman. A brilliant move there, very, very brave, and Plowman did very well to respect his fellow racer and give him plenty of room to put Jamie Ayres back into play. But Plowman's up the inside of Jamie Ayres, gets it a little bit out of shape. Jamie Ayres keeps his position, however, and now Jamie Ayres, Chaz, hot on the heels of Adam Delmont in the Excite Racing car.
Yeah, Delmont really commanding move up the inside there, and like you say, good respect from Plowman to not just sort of keep his foot in and turn into the rear quarter of him. But Jamie Ayres was opportunistic and went through as well, so he's made the most of it. Just behind Plowman is Ayres' teammate Hampson, joining the SimLab team for this season, replacing Jack McIntyre, who of course we wish all the best to. He was off pursuing his own ventures outside of the BSR MX5 Pro Series. And right now we look at Niels Carstensen, who has made an impression on me, not just because he's got a fantastic name, but the fact that he's really hot on the heels there of Nick Mccarran. 1 lap to go, Tom. Well, we're on the final lap now. And if he puts Nick under enough pressure here, he might grab a win. And that'd be 3 wins out of 4 tonight for Swift Cooper Esports, which I think they'll be more than happy with. As Max Wright flying down the order on the left-hand side. We'll have a look back at that in a moment. Niels Carstensen's son. Really late on the brakes into the back of Mccarran there. I've heard of a bump and run. Luckily, neither of them got disqualified for that. They do have disqualification incident point limits in these races, so for anyone that doesn't know, in iRacing, if you put 2 wheels on the grass or make contact or spin the car, you get what's known as an incident point, but it's probably a bit late for me to be referencing that as Nick Mccarran comes out the final corner and takes the checkered flag. Well-deserved win by Nick Mccarran. Great result for Niels Carstensen. Cooper was showing as third for a second. Ashley Beard finishes 4th. Craig Jones, now it's updated, I do apologise. Beard 3rd, Jones 4th, and of Key, Ersum, Cullen and Stevens, Rivette. Marcelo Pagnon rounds out the top 10. There's a car there with a massive amount of damage on it. Can't quite tell who it is. Who's this coming towards us? Adam McNally there. That's Cooper. Cooper and Jones. Adam McNally. That's a big hit into the wall. And to be fair, I think he did that himself as well, Tom. Didn't look like he made any contact. He was just avoiding the incident in front, and it went downhill. But great frantic way to end the evening's racing there. That was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a brilliant bit of racing. I've just watched his onboard live stream actually quickly. I just cut to it while you were chatting away. I think, yeah, as you say, he just tried to avoid the incident and just ended up getting it all sorts of wrong. But Nick Mccarran then for SimLab takes their second race win of the evening. So SimLab might be back here. Really good show from them. Nils Carstensen finishes in P2 for Ashley Beard in third. Craig Jones is your AM race winner in fourth. Mikey Key in fifth. So that's an AM result. Clothing 1-2 for them. Jeroen Urson finishes sixth in the Alex Special Whirlybird. Seventh is Ralph Cullinan. Eighth, Kip Stevens. Ninth, Alex Rivet. Marcelo Panion in 10th. Brian Holmes in 11th. Adam McNally in 12th. 13th, Adam Delmont. 14th, Martin Plowman. Carl Jacquelet in 15th. 16th was Jamie Ayres. Abdulkir Al Amri was 17th. 18th for Dave Hampson. 19th was Martin Sampson. 20th, Benjamin Mears. 21st, Charlie Summers. Billy Rose was 22nd. Steve Hefford, 23rd. Dale Benninson, 24th. Lorne Murray in 25th. Luke Cooper in 26th. Max Wright in 27th. Elmar Erlacotti in 28th, Jack Ashton in 29th, and your non-finishers, we had quite a lot of them. Michael Barry, Graham Sesford, Cesare Rizzo, Pete Van Gool, Scott Malcolm, Carl Hardy, James McRitchie. We should have a few more on your screen as well, I believe. Yeah, Will Daniels, Roy Viverke, David Ayres, Rob Graham, Jason Cooper, and Stuart Dick.
Thanks very much, Tom. And it comes to that part of the evening where we don't have a reverse spinny wheel, but instead we should have some interviews from some of the drivers. So if we have a quick look into the interview waiting room, just have a quick look who we have waiting for us. We've got good old Adam McNally, always wants to come in and have a chat. We've got him and Billy Rose. Tom, I'll let you take first pick on this one.
We'll go for Adam McNally, shall we?
Let's drag him in then. He joins us in the booth now. I'll leave you in the very capable hands of Tom Jacobs.
Brilliant stuff. Evening, Adam. Great start to the season for you guys thereabouts, but we see you coming under a lot of threat from the likes of SimLab and Swift Cooper Esports. So how was that out there for you tonight?
For the team, it was great. We've got pretty much every race we had finishers, all drivers. But I can't believe race 3 and 4 out of 4th place on the last lap. Had an incident and binned it. Absolutely shocking on my own part. But like I said, still finished all the races for the team, scored good points.
Yeah, brilliant stuff out there, mate. Just looking forward, do you guys think you can take the fight to SimLab and Swift Cooper Esports this season? Obviously, last season you were pretty much the team to beat, you and Swift Cooper, but SimLab seem to have upped their game. So what do you think it's going to be like looking forward?
I think it's going to be a great long season. And I think it's going to be battling all the way throughout the season, right to the last week, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it up here into the comms box. Just quickly, on race 3, we noticed, race 4, sorry, we obviously noticed it was pretty dark. Were conditions a lot more difficult out there in the with no lighting, or was it just a case of guys just going flat out?
Just that last lap when I tried to go for the ambitious dive up the inside and hit the curb on the last corner and sent it round into the wall. But it was a bit harder to see round the course. It seemed to be if the cars were by themselves, they struggled. We seemed to catch them up a bit faster. If you were in a pack and lit the track up a bit more, which I think made it easier to see the corners.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just before we let you go, mate, is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, you guys for doing the broadcast. Jamie and the guys behind the scenes who do all the work. Excite Energy for jumping on board with us. As well as SimLab 24, they're joining the team. The Race Mentor, Motorsport Days Live, and the Prio Premature Baby Foundation.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Well, we look forward to seeing you throughout the rest of the season. Wish you the best of luck. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Great to hear from Adam McNally as always. And I did already mention him tonight, and we didn't speak to him after Bathurst. So for a quick one, Billy Rose joins us from Northern Lights Racing. Billy, how was your night?
Not the start that I wanted for the season. First race was positive, 19th. Not right up there, but it was good, solid points. Second race just was involved. I was spun into the tight left-hander, I think turn 4, and then the rest of the field just kind of ploughed into the side of me, so the car was toast. And same for race 3. I can't exactly remember, but I remember it being going along the same lines. And I did well in the last race. I tried to redeem myself. Started pretty much dead last. Actually, was I think 1 place up from last, and started running in 9. Managed to get up to 19th, but got spun again in the same left-hander. So not the start I wanted, but we've got a long season ahead of us.
You certainly have, and obviously on such a tight and twisty circuit, we've seen some great racing on it though, despite numerous incidents. It's not the widest of tracks, but that's part of the beauty of the series, I suppose. You'll see the bigger circuits as well. We come to the same thing that we do every week, where I don't know where we are next.
Spa next week.
Well, that's going to be a very interesting one. Is it a track
I think that's going to be a really good one. Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of Spa. It's I'd say it's one of my favourite tracks. I've actually had a couple of wins there in the Formula Renaults. It's definitely a track I know well. I'm not sure whether I'm guessing it's going to be the full Spa track. So if it is, then it's not going to be many laps, but I think it's going to be some absolutely great laps. There's many opportunities for slipstreams down 2 massive straights, basically, or 3 possibly, and you got obviously that Eau Rouge, which is just going to be, I think, could be absolutely mental, and so hopefully some really cool sort of ballsy moves. But yeah, excited. Hopefully going on to next week, and just got to stay positive and kind of bounce back from this week.
Well, hopefully we'll see you grabbing some good results, mate. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
It's got to be our main sponsor, GT Omega. They're the reason that we're all racing, not just me, but the rest of Northern Lights Racing. They're the guys that provide us, with the budgets and stuff. So yeah, just got to thank them. Big thank you to those guys for sponsoring the team and continuing through to this year. And also got thank you for Northern Lights Racing once again for putting me into a new series and letting me continue in the MX5s.
Smashing stuff, mate. Well, pleasure to speak to you as always. And we will
definitely.
Hopefully speak to you after Spa if we get there.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, should be a good racing. Down for speaking with you guys after then.
Good stuff. Well, we'll see you next time, mate. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Billy Rose there of Northern Lights Racing, and just a quick special one as a little outro for ourselves. Mr. Jeroen Ursum, Mystic Meg himself, joins us, and I believe, got a very interesting livery on that car, Jeroen.
You like it?
Well, I know one of us likes it a bit more than the other, don't you, Alex?
Hi, Alex.
Hello. Yeah, I thought it was great until obviously people smashed my face in on it,
Yeah,
I'm sure there's lots of people that want to do that, but so now they've got the opportunity.
I don't know if it's against me or against you. I don't know what you're
I would guess it's against me. That's fine.
Yeah, I feel the wheel is always rigged, so.
Well, they'll have to start paying.
I'm getting richer every week. This is all last.
There's going to be some sort of bidding war soon, I feel. Either Alex has to stop rigging the wheel. They'll pay Alex not to rig the wheel. You'll pay them to rig the wheel, and then if not, they'll bash into the side of your car just so they can smash Alex's face in. So, I'd say it's going to be a continuous vicious circle. But that's what this is all about, anyway, isn't it? Really, with that wheel. So,
yeah. I'm very sorry. This is just a one-off.
We'll have to see, won't we? Well,
from next week, I will be running also in the Excite cars.
All right, fair play then. Well, there's some news for everyone watching at home. Jeroen Ursum moves to Excite. How was just very quickly, Jeroen? How was tonight for you? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was hectic twice, and it was very good twice. So yeah, pretty happy about it. 2 top 10 finishes, no DNFs. So
yeah, strong
to start the season.
Yeah, definitely strong results for you. Moving to Spa next week. Is it a track you're particularly confident at?
Oh yes.
Good stuff. That's what we want to hear.
I think it's the only circuit I excel at, so I hope it brings me a lot of more top 10s then.
Well, we do too, mate. We hope to see you doing well next week. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Alex, of course. As the chairman of the Alex Simpson fan club, I want to thank Alex for the great broadcasting. How do you do it? I don't know. It's brilliant. The commentating is also good, but yeah, it's just the directing, yeah, it's perfect.
It's all about the directing. They can't do it about the director.
So excited, of course, for taking me in.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing how you get on with those boys, and maybe we'll speak to you next week, Jeroen.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thanks very much, mate. See you soon.
See you guys.
Jeroen Ursum there, probably one of the kings of banter in this series. Very, very funny man himself. Always gets involved with the jokes, and obviously he's very good at predicting a reverse grid wheel for some reason, Alex. Just final thoughts on tonight, Tom. Great way to start off the series in my mind.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. All the guys a little bit more tame than we're normally used to, but I think that's because it's the start of the season. But judging from what we saw tonight, I think it's going to make for some absolutely brilliant racing towards the end of the season, and obviously halfway through it. I'm really looking forward to the battle between Excite SimLab and Excite SimLab and Swift Cooper Esports. Really looking forward to that fight, and I think it's going to really start to put this series on the map.
And final thoughts from you, Alex. What did you reckon to tonight?
Yeah, really enjoyed tonight. Like I say, a bit cagey first couple of races, but then yeah, I think we're going to have another great season on our hands. It's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out, of course, with the different format, with the rather than the quarters. You know, every sort of season we're going to have a straight on shoot like the BSR TC, and with a showdown at the end. So it's going to be particularly exciting. So long old season, lots of races to go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out and who's going to get that championship at the end.
And of course, my many extended thanks for you two. It's fantastic to work with you as always, and thank you for everyone for tuning in from home as well. And of course, the iRacing Esports Network for having us. Don't forget, you can check out our own work as well on ApexRacingTV. We're on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch as well now. So if you do want to catch any of the broadcasts that we do, you can find us on there. Alex, Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you next week at Spa-Francorchamps. Good night.